came back to Napa this morning hoping to get into the little monastery, but it seems as if there's a festival of sorts over the next 3 days or so. We think it might be Cypriot Independence Festival. So the monastery appears to be closed again, even though it says it's open online, but we've come up some steps and I can show you some of the inside of the monastery from our vantage point here, but there just doesn't seem to be any way that we'll be inside this trip, but I'll give you a little view of the inside courtyard area. I've never seen it from this perspective, but just give you a little idea of the inside. It's changed a little bit. They now have perspex under those arches. That was never there before. Not entirely sure what the purpose of that is. Also some modern ramps for wheelchair accessibility. But that's the interior. You can see, I can get my phone back through these bars. You can see, there's a Ferris wheel down there. You can see how much this place has just been built up over the decades. Bars, restaurants. This is the back side of the monastery. We've got a nightclub there. I mean, it's just surrounded. Little monastery that used to be alone on the top of this little hill, now surrounded as much as they can squeeze in to the available space. So, but it is what it is. So we're going to leave the monastery now and on to our next stop. This is the main road running from the coast up and through the main area of Napa. The monastery that we were just at is just over there. And now the streets are lined both sides, shops, bars, restaurants, you name it. It's a little after 10 in the morning, and this place is just getting started. A bunting up across the street there. Probably something to do with the festival that's coming up over the next 3 days or so over the weekend. So this is definitely not a place where we want to be when that's happening. It could be very interesting, of course, but parking could be a nightmare and the number of people around would be a little mad. So probably not for us. But this is just a little look of the main street of Napa. We're walking now down to the harbour and want to have a quick look at the beach. That's always an eye-opener. Nigel hasn't seen it, so that's where we're heading right now. It's about a 15-minute walk from the monastery down to the coast, directly south of the monastery. Napa Harbour. Any boat trip imaginable, including a Nemo submarine. So behind the harbour, hotels. More hotels. We have Cape Greco over there in the distance with a yellow tour boat of some description. Can't imagine what that is. But quite a long beach. I really remember it being quite that large, so they may have actually removed rock and replaced it with sand. But I mean, regardless, look at the water, it's just beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. Of course, this used to be a little fishing harbour Napa used to be a small fishing village and has just grown beyond imagination. But you know, still a very pretty place to come if you don't mind this kind of a holiday. Quite a few people currently on that beach. Alright, we'll continue. We're at the sea caves currently. I don't think I've ever been here before. Absolutely stunning. Look at the colour of the water. Incredible. See over in the distance where we were yesterday. Maybe you can't see, but there's that monstrosity of a hotel. Maybe right in the middle of the picture currently. Just sticks up like it's just a real blot on the landscape. But anyway, back to the sea caves. It's glorious, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous colour of the sea, mad people jumping in. No, Nigel's not next. This lad going, gone. Oh, there's quite a few people down there. Wow. Brave folk. How far would you say that drop was now? Yeah. Long way down.
30.
Yeah. You may or may not recognise where I am this morning. This is quite a distinctive marker just over my shoulder. We're in Pergamos camp where I used to live. We had 2 postings here when Dad was in the army, so lived here in 2 different bungalow homes. One is just down the road directly behind me, and the other one I'm not sure we'll even be able to get to, but we're going to show you a little bit of what it is now. Very different, obviously. No homes here anymore. They were all taken down years ago. But this is Pergamos camp. We'll show you a little bit in a second. Just ahead and to the left, if you can see where the road, what used to be the road, turns to the left. Used to be a good friend of mine. I've had 2 good friends lived up that road. The road down here used to go to the primary school off to the left hand side, and we lived opposite on the right hand side on one occasion. And the road bends around to the right at the bottom and then goes down a little way to a cul-de-sac. I had a good friend living behind me. At one point she would have been living over there. And our home was just about behind. These have all grown up through the road, of course. Our home was probably right behind where all that brush is now. Along here, if I remember correctly. So that was the road to the primary school. The road up to the left where my friend used to live, and then yeah, I think this is just about where we were. Yeah, this has to be it. Yeah, I think so. You can hardly hear a thing here. these aloe plants in the back garden. Mum used to hang washing from the line over there. Oh, see, now you can hear something. And there was behind our garden at the back here, looking out for snakes and stuff. Ooh, rather large feather there. At the back of our garden, I think it was fenced. It was like a massive football ground or a big area where we had sports day. When I was at the primary school, we had sports day on the field. I use the term field very loosely. It was pretty much clay, and solid clay at that. And down to the left there was Ali's bar and some more shops, and then the road leading up to the swimming pool. So this is a view from the back garden to where the bungalow area used to be. I'm now walking from what used to be our home down towards the roundabout at the entrance. So there would have been bungalows all the way along here. Everywhere seems so much smaller, but bungalows lining this road. And that's back to where we lived. And then the primary school and another road off to the right there. But I'm surprised when they actually tore down all of the bungalows and pretty much leveled everything here. They left the roundabout. I mean, for any of the families who lived here, that is iconic. It was then and it still is today. I mean, the number of photos I've seen of children who lived here come back as adults and take their photo in front of that tree at that roundabout where the wall is still standing. It's just brilliant. So I'm thrilled they left that there. A bit surprising, but it's lovely to see. And I'll no doubt get my picture there before we leave today. So the barrier was just beyond that tree and the guardhouse off to the right. Camp, of course, was completely enclosed with fencing, barbed wire. We only had one entrance, one exit. And there's a road off to the left here. Don't remember the name of that, but what I'm standing on now is Cedar Crescent. It may have been Ash Lane down there, can't quite remember. And that meets up with Cedar Crescent all the way down, and then you can turn left to follow the road around up to the primary school, or you can go right down into that cul-de-sac area that I mentioned earlier. There was a lay-by here where the buses used to wait, or taxis, right at the entrance, which was there. Guardhouse was there. Here's the iconic roundabout with the beautiful tree. And just behind that would have been the Napa and a small line of shops where I used to get magazine subscriptions, pick those up from. Not a whole lot else to show you down here. Oh, you can see the road all the way up there that used to go to the swimming pool. And the gymnasium was down there and off to the right. There was also a nursery school that Mum worked at for a time off to the right, further up there. Also had friends up there too in the flats. The cinema was also there actually. And that road just loops around at the back and I think ends up at the massive gymnasium that the soldiers used to train in. But here is the line, of what used to be the shops just here. And there used to be some strange bars along here. You can still see where the markers are in the ground. Some vertical bars that had horizontal bars connecting them all, and I used to sort of put my leg over them and do somersaults over these bars. Most odd things you do as a kid when there's absolutely nothing to do in a place like this. But in my opinion, you know, this is still a beautiful place. I love it. I mean, it smells wonderful. The sounds, is all you can hear are birds, the odd cricket here and there, lizards slithering around. Well, you can't hear them, but it's just, you know, in my opinion, this is my childhood and I loved every minute of it. So I think as long as I keep coming back to Cyprus, I shall try to make a trip here, as long as they allow us to come this far, because the Turkish Pergamos camp is so close. You can't see it from here, but it's very, very close. The fencing is still up, no barbed wire that I can see. Stand in the shade. So this must have been the parking for the shops. Fabulous. Another of our stops this morning is to Triada. We are at the viewing point where you can look across to Famagusta. This used to be the only spot that you could come to see this, but now you can actually go into Famagusta if that's your fancy. Not mine, currently anyway. But we're going to take a look at the viewpoint, and I've never been here before, but that's Famagusta. Good morning. It's around 9:30, 10 o'clock. We arrived at Trinity Beach early to get sunbeds. This is a very small beach, it's about a 10-minute drive from where we're staying. We came here the other day. The other side of this little bay is where they'll be setting up for the Cyprus Rocks Festival. So we love the look of this beach, so we thought we'd give it a shot today before the festival starts in a few days. So we're here just for a few hours, have a couple of sunbeds right at the shoreline. People are just starting to arrive, so we really did time it right. I will show you the beach and the little harbour that's here. It's very pretty. Very pretty beach. There's a school party that arrived not that long ago, and they are, looks like, having a sports day perhaps today, so maybe not the best day for us to have chosen, but it is what it is. But the water here in this bay is lovely and calm. And very clear, as per usual. Fishing boat just coming in. There's a small harbour here as well, which is really, really lovely. Taking a walk around there later, I am sure. Quite a few boats in here. There are a couple of hotels, not large hotels, and villas around here. And we just saw a group of people, a small group of people, getting on one of the boats. So they've obviously chartered something to go on maybe a snorkeling trip somewhere. But very, very pretty here. Little fishing boat just coming in over there. You can see that. There's the beach, there's Nige. It's a little bit busy. see. But really not too bad. We're not shoulder to shoulder on the sunbeds as Nisi Beach and Mykonos would be. So we're looking forward to being here for a couple of hours. We'll grab a bite to eat. There's a taverna behind the beach, just over there. And there's also another one the other side of the harbour, as I said, where they're setting up for the rock festival. So we have a choice of 2 places to eat at. So we'll have a look at the menus later. But it's early just yet, so we're just going to have a relaxing couple of hours here. We are in Fig Tree Bay this morning. I haven't been back to this beach since we left in the early 80s, so it's a bit of an eye-opener for me, as many of the places that we visited so far have been. Not surprising, of course. This is the island at Fig Tree Bay behind me that you can see over my shoulder. This is also somewhere that my brother used to swim to. We both used to swim to, but he actually climbed up on that island one day and trod on the sea urchin, so be forewarned. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit of a look at Fig Tree Bay. Just bear in mind that when we were here there was one taverna over here and that was it. So we'll give you a look. They now offer free municipal parking right off of the town, the main road running through the town, which is very nice. I imagine it gets absolutely packed the height of summer, but this is Fig Tree Bay, and this would have been where the one and only original restaurant taverna used to be. Dramatically different, of course. Not surprised, I knew it would be like this, but it is so lovely to see that beach and that island again. Wow. And look at the water. I know it's hard to see from here, but goodness me, beautiful. A lot of umbrellas. Have a lifeguard station. I suppose you have to these days, but look at that. Okay, so this is running along the main road running through the town now. All the hotels obviously front the water, and behind the main strip is lined with shops. Actually, it looks quite pretty. It's not horrendous, but very pretty. Coming down to the beach with their families. It's a cooler day today, I think low 80s, high 70s, low 80s, because there's a front going through Greece. We're getting the tail end of that, but still an absolutely glorious day. Look at the island, fabulous. So this is looking to the right hand side of Fig Tree Bay. The rocks in the water down there, I'm certain we used to go rock pooling in. So I'll try and give you a wider view. Water sports, of course, jet ski rentals, you name it, you can get it. Lifeguard station, showers. So this is Fig Tree Bay. In my opinion, still a really beautiful beach, really stunning. Yes, it's a shame about all the tourists, but it is to be expected, but you get that everywhere now. Row upon row of hotels as far as you can see.
Okay, what one?
And this boardwalk probably stretches as far as us in Panera. Not terribly attractive, but it is what it is. So we left Fig Tree Bay rather quickly. We didn't stay long. It wasn't really our cup of tea. but it is what it is. As I said, this will probably be the last video before the Cyprus Rocks Festival starts. There's a barbecue this afternoon that one of the promoting bars is hosting, so we'll be going to that and meeting some of the other folks that are here for that rock festival. But I think, yes, the car goes back tomorrow morning, so this is probably our last day out. We've just come along the coast a little away from Fig Tree Bay. We're in between Fig Tree Bay and Panera now, around the tail end of the Pataras area. Quite a nice little spot here. Very small beach that you can see behind me, but it's very peaceful. You know, it's not a Fig Tree Bay, and it's certainly not a Nissi Beach. It's very pretty, but this, like I said, will be the last video until the Cyprus Rocks event starts, so I'll try and get some footage of that as well if you're interested. So I'll give you another video of where we are right now, but I'll sign off until the festival fun starts. See ya.